What is up, my ninjas? I'm Strydent, and today I'm bringing you a review that I wish I didn't have to bring you, but I did pick this up and I wanted to talk about it. It is the Onslaught Wave Captain America, aka Capwolf, and I have so much to say about this figure. So, there are hundreds of characters in Marvel's pantheon that have yet to receive one figure. One. And I am a Captain America fan, and we got another Cap. This time it's more classic, more, the Cap we grew up seeing, with a couple details that at first glance look like they would be good details. But why? Why couldn't we have gotten one of those characters that have yet to get a figure? Shang-Chi, perhaps. You know what I mean? A really good Moon Knight figure. I know he got one before. Jim Lee Cyclops. I'm always going to bring that up. But instead we get Capwolf, a very obscure story featuring Captain America that, there are billions of other stories that would have been more worthwhile to choose Cap from. The Accessory, they didn't even go all the way. They didn't commit with it. Actually, most of the accessories, they did not commit. Even the figure, he feels light and very cheap, and cheaper so than most of the Marvel Legends as of late, which is just really bad considering you have such a substantial body on this guy. He actually looks like what I remember Ron Lim's artwork looking like, or the current stuff during Brubaker's run. He just looks like that classic Cap. It's just that they really skimped achieving this classic Cap look. And I got this figure a while back. I got him actually right after I got the Age of Ultron Cap earlier this year. And, oh my god. Let's start off by the obvious. So he comes with a shield, he comes with 2 extra hands, the extra head, and those straps that you see. The straps are supposed to simulate what Cap looks like when he has the shield on his back. But did you know they're not actually connected? Like, are you fucking serious? Now, the main reason why I had to do this review is because a lot of people have put this figure on their top 10 lists, and they said it was great, and it was a figure they've been waiting for, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. But I'm going to go with the first accessory I chose to pick up. And it's his fucking straps that should be connected somehow to the shield. And they're just 2 separate straps. I mean, really? Are you fucking kidding me? This qualifies as awesome workmanship and an awesome figure just because you got something so simple that they couldn't even do right, and they've done right in the past. They could have even used a fucking rubber band, like a ponytail holder, and it would have done a better job. You know what I mean? Because at least it's connected. It's not 2 separate loops that you have to somehow balance between his shield and his back. Or you could have just been real cheap and reused the straps from the Ultimate Captain America years back. Joe Mad draws them like this. Brubaker sometimes had, the team that was working on the Brubaker run had it drawn like that sometimes. I hate the fact that I forget who drew that shit. Maybe it is Ed Brubaker that drew it. I can't remember. But this already existed. All I did was switch them. Normally that's what they do. Why did they not do that here? Instead they gave us the cheapest looking, cheapest feeling shit that just doesn't work. I don't like that. I don't like it, and I don't think it qualifies as a good accessory for your figure. I think that's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. And you know it. Not convinced? Take a look at this. This is how they sit on his shoulders. They're not connected by anything. They're just sitting there. And watch this. Bloop. That's all it takes. So if you move them the wrong way, they just drop off. Bullshit. Bullshit. All they had to do was take a ponytail holder, I mentioned this earlier, loop it around the shoulders or something similar, and voila, you have straps for his shield. All you would have had to do is do the looping in the backside, in the inside of the shield. Give us the same clip system if you want, but loop that in the shield so you could just put that on his back, or just give it to us separate. It needed to be a connected thing. Or, like I had said earlier, reuse the old ones from the previous figures. So we're going to look at the accessories. And like I already pointed them out pretty much, but we'll go into it a little bit more detail. You got the Capwolf head, you got the straps, you got the shield, you got the 2 extra hands. The shield itself, it's just like all the other Hasbro Marvel Legends shields. It's got the peg so that you can peg it in. You can wear it on his back, and then combined with the straps, it's supposed to look like Cap is wearing his shield on his back the way he does in the comics. And it also has the clip so you can put it on his arm. The clip is usually made of brittle plastic, so it doesn't work very well. So let's talk more about the accessories. The shield. The shield is really smooth, no surface detail, very cheap looking. You would have thought they would have used one of the previously sculpted, cast, whatever shields that actually has the detail instead of this cheapo shit right here. This one, I mean, it does everything that you want done on your Captain America shield, but it still has the clip and peg system. I wish they'd make the clip and peg system out of a more rubbery, softer plastic so that it wouldn't break under the stress of clipping it onto his hand. And then also, if you happen to suck at putting that, you know, in his back, the peg in his back, it won't break because it's rubbery, you know, like his hands. But instead, they gave us, you know, the same old shit. So the clip and the shield are both made out of this kind of brittle plastic. It's a little bit smaller than what we normally get. You can't really tell here. I think these two are closer in size, but the first Avenger cap, which I have his shield with the Avengers cap because it's just easy to put on, you can really tell the difference. For some reason, I kept screwing up at this part where I was like trying to, you can see it. I'm trying to put it at a good angle so you guys can see it. And for some reason, I just kept fucking it up until I decided to put it side by side. So forgive me for that. But it's really lame that they didn't go about doing what they could have done to improve it. See, now you can see that it's not just the paint job, it's the actual size of the shield. Now, we're done talking about the shield, but I'm not even gonna really say too much about this piece of shit right here. I threw mine the fuck out. I don't have time for this kind of bullshit. It was so obscure, nobody really liked that shit. How are you gonna say it's awesome? But anyway, these two figures came out at the exact same time, same price, but with the small modifications I did that I shouldn't have had to do for this Batman, I was able to make him look the part. You know what I mean? I was able to make him feel more official. And he doesn't already feel light because Mattel always makes some substantially, you know, figures with substantial weight to them. This cap feels super light and cheap. I'm going to get Batman out of the way, but I want to talk a little bit more about just the build quality of this figure. Do you see the seam lines? They're split. That's not shadow, it's split. And this is out, I reviewed this fresh out of the fucking package. Seam lines are split. They didn't even seal it right. It's as if the peg hole and peg system that they normally use to glue them together, it just wasn't done right. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't have to be like that. The peg didn't go in properly and it didn't hold, or glue got in the peg hole or something and it just didn't close all the way. There's no excuse for this shit. Blue is seeping through in some of the areas where he's painted. And you see, I'm a Cap fan, so it's not like I'm saying this and I don't actually buy the figures and I don't like Cap and I just hate on Marvel Legends. It's just, this is what we got based on, I mean, I'm pointing out what I got based on what I see right in front of me. And then it's funny because I got this the same week that I got the Figuarts one, and I was figuring, let me update my comic one, because, you know, I got my Lee Field looking, John Bogdanov style looking old school Cap, and I'm like, this new one feels a little bit more, you know, as far as how he looks more like, you know, comic accurate, except for the fact that he's missing things like the scale mail and, you know, he's missing articulation or range of motion. But it's like, you know, you see what Figuarts is doing, you see what Hasbro's doing, and it makes you wonder, why can't they at least mimic what they see? Mimic it. It doesn't have to be the same. It won't be the same quality, but at least mimic it. You'll be on the right track. You know? It just doesn't make sense to me. I like my Ultimate figures, you know? And that's where it started. And a lot of the time, when I'm comparing the new figures to the old ones, these are the things I'm looking at. And it's strange to me that there's stuff that they got right the first time with that first cap, which was the first Marvel Legend, that they can't get right now. And with technologies move so much farther forward, the methods have moved farther forward. I mean, someone probably sculpted that first cap by hand, whereas nowadays it's all done via computer. You know what I mean? They just pretty much you rig up your model in whatever 3D software you have, and then you could 3D print this figure perfectly. The same thing goes for your Ultimate Cap and the first Avenger Cap. They probably weren't using computers for those, you know? And you can see that, like I love the Avengers figure, and I loved the Winter Soldier cap also. And everything that was right with the Avengers cap is even better to some degree on the Winter Soldier cap, but things were going downhill. And then, Return of Marvel Legends, and then this one is a little bit better. What is this called? The Age of Heroes or something like that cap? It was, at the time, it was the modern cap. And he's all right. It's just there's little things that didn't work so well with him as far as build went. You know, he didn't have the perfect build. And then you get to this guy, and it's like, looking at him, this is Captain America. But then as soon as you go any further, and that's the problem I always have with Marvel Legends, they look so good. And then, like scale mail, they sculpted it on the Ultimate one and the Age of Heroes cap, but then they couldn't even like tampo that shit on this one if they didn't want to sculpt it. How does that make sense? And then there's these cheapo straps. Are you fucking kidding me? And I mean, so many people praised this figure. You couldn't just, no detail, like no sculpted detail. You wouldn't have even had to sculpt a new shield. You could have just reused an old shield. That's what boggles my mind. Look at all the other caps I have, and they all reuse the same shield for each era of those figures. The Marvel Legends from Toybiz, they reuse them, and then the ones from Hasbro should have reused them, and many of them do. But it seems like every 2 caps or every 3 caps we get a new shield that's worse than the previous one. What the fuck? Not to mention, like I said, the screw up with these straps. It's not difficult. It's not difficult, and that's why I took the straps, the shoulder harness from the Ultimate Cap from the 3-pack, or the Ultimate Cap from, Return of Marvel Legends. Use that peg, and use the peg on the shield, hook them up together, and I got a better looking cap already. And that's all I had to do was reuse shit from back in the day. That's all I had to do. It's that simple. And somehow no one at Hasbro, a company known for reusing parts and shit, they didn't think that they could do that with this? What's the deal? I mean, why is it so... Oh my god. I mean, like I said, Figuarts even sculpted that shit on there because in the movie, it's part of the costume, so they could get away with sculpting it on the character, on the figure. Why not do the same thing by now? You would think they would have this under control, and they just don't. That's why when I watch reviews and people praise figures that just clearly are lacking, I have to say something because it bothers me. What if I had, and in this case, actually, it bothered me because I did believe the reviews that I saw, and no one said these things. You know what I mean? Everybody said, "Oh, it's all right. It works fine for what it is. It worked fine." It doesn't fucking work fine. Stop lying. Ask for more. And I have more than enough Captain America figures to prove that. I mean, shit, I have that terrible first Avenger cap that I liked when it first came out, but the longer I played with it, the more I looked at it, I was like, ooh, they need to update that shit. His stature is off. He's too small. You know what I mean? But the point of the matter is still the same. I have enough Captain America figures to prove. I mean, I love the character, and there's things that need to be done better with these figures, And I have them at several price points, because the first one I got, he was like $8, $7 or $8 at a con. The last one I got, or second to last one I got, which is this one right here, he was like $70. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm saying I'm just sitting in the sidelines and I'm hating for the sake of hating. It's like at this point, this shit should be like a science. They should know how to do it right. And you guys as fans out there that love Marvel Legends, you should be asking for more. You should not be swayed by a pretty looking figure with shoddy workmanship and shoddy build quality at a $20 plus price point. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So, you know, I'm going to stick with my $70 Captain America. Yeah, I can't bang him into the other figures and shit, but he's just built so much better and sculpted better. All right, articulation. This guy, this is as far as his arms and his legs can be spread apart with his legs flat on the ground. Look at Batman. The Van Damage is real. It's like maximum Van Damage. And this is cheapo Batman. And his arm can go out that far too, perfectly. No issues there. All he's lacking, obviously, is the double jointed elbows and knees, but still, look at this shit. These are the basic joints, and they fuck that shit up. His ab crunch is kind of weird too. And those straps, I apologize, those are still the ones that I put on him, not the ones he came with, because the ones he came with are fucking garbage. I don't need to go through all the articulation. Yeah, here's the wax straps. I'm not going to go through all the articulation because you already know it's a Marvel Legend. But, like, really? Really, guys? This is your perfect Cap? Anyway, we've come to the part where I will give you my thoughts. This is the bottom freaking line. I'm tired of this. I mean, I already had sworn off Marvel Legends, so, you know, I had a moment of weakness, but here's, you know, my overall thoughts.
I honestly see no reason to continue with these things. I mean, like, I got Scourge and I got Taskmaster all because they're figures of characters that we never got before, and I was really happy that they existed. But, like, just none of this shit holds a candle to the stuff that I'm collecting right now. I mean, I collect figure arts for a reason, and, like, even though there's certain bad guys that I want, you know what I mean, and that's the reason for getting the these bad guys from this Cap wave, and the fact that Cap almost never gets the kind of love that he should get, you know. I mean, think about all the Iron Man waves, and think about how many actual Iron Man figures that we actually, you know, Iron Man villains, I'm sorry, that we actually got. It's kind of embarrassing when you think about it. We have 50 billion different versions of Tony Stark, and no one for him to fight except for, like, the Ironmonger and possibly, what's his name? Ultron. And Ultron's not an Iron Man villain. So, he's not strictly an Iron Man villain, you know what I mean? So it's kind of weird. But, you know, Cap even got less love, because Cap, what villains do we have? Red Skull, that's it. And then we have, like, Hydra, and Hydra's actually a lot of people's enemy. But I like this. If only we could get a 90s Cyclops with this exact hand and a similar body type to this, because Bucky Cap's body would do for all, you know, for 90s Cyclops. But, you know, all in all, I'm just not impressed. You know, I'm impressed with him from afar. Just standing there, that is freaking Captain America, especially when you switch out these things. That's Captain America. But, like, and then you switch out the shield also to the bigger, more robust shield with actual sculpted detail and not this smooth-ass paint shit right here. But, like, so much of what they did, I mean, the fact that they gave us extra hands makes me happy. We have the saluting hand, which I showed you in the beginning, or the shield throwing hand, you know, and that makes me really happy. But, like, so much of what we got is just so shitty. It's like, really? That's what you're giving us? They didn't even try. I mean, you're reusing a body. You didn't really sculpt anything, because those boots look like boots that we got either on Zemo or on whoever else in their classic costume they force-fed the fans. And it's weird. You know, I was talking to Agent O, and Agent O was like, it's weird how we were talking about Scourge, and how Scourge looks really cool, but then he came with these weird brown guns. And it's like, you know, Hasbro obviously is aware of the fact that they have this built-in fan base for Marvel Legends where they can do no wrong. And, you know, even when they do wrong, the fans still come back. It's like an abusive relationship. And they don't even throw you guys a bone. You know, like, this was kind of an impulse buy because I picked up Scourge and I'm like, shit, may as well get another Cap so that, you know, I have a classic Cap. I could play flashbacks and use this Cap instead of this one. But, like, this one, as far as a figure goes, you know, as far as, like, being able to pose the figure, this is a superior figure as far as posing goes. Anatomically, he looks like something Rob Liefeld or somebody would draw, or like John Bogdanov or something, because he's so top heavy, and then the tiny little waist, and then these skinny kind of legs. This here looks more like what I remember from comics, both modern comics depicting this, the suit that, was it Steve Epting, or during the like Winter Soldier arc and all that shit. I can't remember who drew that stuff. That's sad. I should know that. Anyway, this looks like modern classic Cap, like a neoclassic version of Cap, with the straps, and then, you know, everything else is classic Cap, except they didn't make these black. They're like trunks, you know what I mean? But I love this. This look is beautiful. It looks like what I think of when I think of Cap, and it surprises me that they even gave us this. Now, the fact that they cheaped out on all those things that actually complete the look, that pisses me off more than anything. Why not finally give us straps that can go over his shoulders and over the arms? I showed you. You can do it with this. You know what I mean? You just crisscross it like this and have the center piece connected at 2 points to the actual shield. I did it with glue for my younger son with his Hero Masters cap because he broke the peg. And I was like, yeah, he's a little young for pegs. You know, he's trying to put the peg in the hole and he messes up a couple times. That peg's gonna break. So why not just give him, you know, kind of rubber bandy type things to use? And it worked. I Gorilla Glued them in there and it worked. Why can't they sculpt it so that those things have a place to go? And that's what we use, you know, sculpt clips so that we can remove them if we want to and just stick with the peg and clip system, you know what I'm saying? But instead, they keep giving us these cheapo fucking clips. I mean, I love the peg. I think this should have always been. But like, what's with the cheapo clip? And to think that Toybiz, what, 7 or 8 years earlier or something like that? No, it was shorter than that. 4 years earlier, something like that. They did this right with this Captain America, the very first Captain America, out the box. This is the first Marvel Legends character. And they did it right. And then they did it right again. And every cap that Toybiz made had the right clip. And then Hasbro can't just use that. It's not like it was trademarked. It's not like it was proprietary, you know what I mean? Like, they're the only ones that can do this. So, you know, yeah, there's a lot of things. I may sound like I'm ranting, but it's because I love Cap. And they botched the movie figures to the point where I couldn't buy them because they didn't really do anything different. It pretty much repainted, you know, Winter Soldier Cap a billion times, both for Age of Ultron, and now they're doing it again for freaking Civil War. And that's not cool. It shouldn't be like that. So, I don't know. I'm a fan of Cap. I've been a fan of Cap for a long time. I'm a bigger fan of Cap these days because they get him so right in the films. But I'm not happy with what I see as far as how Hasbro handles that toy. If only they would take cues from Figuarts. They don't have to do this level of a figure, but take cues. They gave us the extra hands. Okay, give us an extra head. Sculpt in the details that you don't want to spend the money on, you know what I mean, for making accessories. Sculpt those things, those straps in, and then we can do the rest with our imaginations. I mean, you know how the Marvel Legends fan base does with all their figures, you know? They don't need that much. They don't ask for that much. And that's part of the problem. But, you know, if you're a toy manufacturer, that's one of the things that you should be paying attention to. The fan base doesn't need that much, but occasionally throw them a freaking bone, you know, do something a little bit more awesome. Completing my thought from earlier, me and Agent O were talking, and he was talking about how the fan base eats up whatever they do, and still Hasbro doesn't just give them a little bit more to actually make it worth their while, you know, like when you look at how the fan base just eats up whatever Hasbro gives them, it's kind of sad. But like if Hasbro would say, you know, we need to repay them for their loyalty. Let's give them a little something so they don't, you know, feel completely cheated all the time. Then it would be understandable why people keep coming back. You know, the times that I have gotten figure arts that I wasn't super happy with, there were at least redeeming qualities that kept me there. You know what I'm saying? They kept me all over the figure. But like, you don't get that with Hasbro figures. I mean, fans will convince themselves that they're getting that, but realistically, you're not getting that. I mean, cheapo shield. You went out of your way to have a mold without any surface detail. You can't tell me that cost more money when you already made the damn shields in previous lines and waves. What the fuck? Like, you did more work. Don't tell me you couldn't reuse these straps that I just reused because they already existed, you know? So anyway, I'm happy that I have this because it represents an old school Cap. You know, at least just standing there it does. And you know, I already bought it. He was on sale at Walmart, so I didn't pay an arm and a leg. I think I paid about almost $30 for him and Scourge. Almost. So they were like 14 something, like 15 bucks a piece. That's reasonable for what you got. I mean, this figure is cheap. Oh, cheapo. There's no way you're gonna convince me that this is a $20 figure. So, you know, I'm in the same boat with this Batman. Very cheapo. And I'm gonna get to him in a second. Cheapo. But like, there's no way you're gonna convince me he's a $20 figure. And I didn't pay $20 for this guy. I paid $13. So, you know what I mean? I think I paid 20 something, $24.99 for the Batmobile. And that seems fair. But yeah, I just figured since I had just done the review on this guy, I'm gonna get this in so you guys can hear my thoughts on this, because sometimes I swear I try so hard to get out and they pull me back in because they get a character that I love and then they do me dirty. But soon I'll be getting to review this beauty over here, the Aliens Day special Ripley, which is the Kenner version. And I talked about that a lot, that I grew up, me and my brother, playing with aliens. My brother actually had Ripley. I had Vasky, and I think that was it. I didn't really have that many alien figures. I played with Apone a lot. He was my favorite. But yeah, quick review. This has been my quick review on the Marvel Legends Captain America wave, classic Captain America, or Capwolf Captain America. Fuck that Capwolf head. Like I said, I'm throwing that shit out. They didn't even commit and give you the fingers, the hands and the actual big crazy feet to go with it, you know? At least the hands if you're gonna do it, for those folks like ODC that wanted this. Fuck that shit. So like I said, Capwolf, ugh. Red Skull Wave Captain America. This is my story, I'm sticking to it. I'm disappointed, but at the same time, strangely enough, if I'm gonna leave him like this, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it works. And he's kind of easy to play with, because there's not too many surfaces, although his legs suck ass. He can't really kick the way Cap should kick, and that bothers me. But, you know, that's the way it works. Them's the breaks, as they say in Marvel Comics, or he used to say. Anyway, thank you for watching. On to the next one.